This week on Micah and The Hatman, we have some interesting topics for you. Maduro must go. Aggressive smirking is apparently a thing. And did Trump cave on the shutdown? All that and your questions. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as The Hatman.
Welcome to Micah and The Hatman on Politics Live. All right. Let's go ahead and get right to it. So, Maduro. Actually, real quick, before we get started, I have decided to accentuate my suit, as I tend to do on occasion. I finally got the U.S. flag lapel pin.
Good.
So anytime I wear this sucker in public, this baby's going to be with me. And then, of course, I actually recently purchased, because Men's Warehouse was having a sale, red, white, and blue dress shirts. So.
There you go.
Gotta love it.
Not simply Wilson Fisk anymore.
No. Nope, branching out a bit. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So, in Venezuela, we have had a bit of a conundrum lately. A conundrum, though, that I think is a long time coming.
Yes, it's definitely deserved. I mean, Venezuela is basically on the brink of civil war at last. I mean, it's kind of an odd thing to say, like, yes, they're finally getting into it, but it's rather deserved at this point. Because, like you said, Maduro must go.
So, for better or worse, we have found ourselves in a position where Maduro is refusing to give up power after an election has happened.
A very, very irregular election. So, election was last year. It was supposed to be in December of last year. It got moved up to April before getting pushed back into May. Election happened way earlier than usual, and of course, Nicolas Maduro won in a landslide, or rather, won.
Yes.
A lot of the international community refused to recognize it. The EU, Central America, Lima Group, Australia, US, Canada, did not recognize it. Who did? You know, your usual authoritarian states like, you know, China, Cuba,
Russia,
Iran, North Korea, Russia, yeah, Turkey. Yeah. So everyone is kind of understanding, yeah, this is a sham, this is absolute dictatorship. This ain't gonna fly. So Maduro was supposed to be inaugurated on January 10th, and really he was. Until opposition leader and interim president, according to the Venezuelan constitution, Juan Guaido, declared himself as president because the country needed a new election. The election was a sham. It was irregular. And he is being backed by at least the U.S. and Canada. And until something is resolved, the EU will recognize him within a week. So Venezuela might get some 1776 action,
as they should, and it's necessary.
Should.
It is necessary at this point, despite what the modern left would tell you, which is why I'm so surprised that so many countries that, you know, are ran by the modern left are opposing Maduro in this. But despite what they would tell you, the reason that Venezuela is as it is, the reason that Maduro was able to seize so much power was because of socialism.
Hugo Chavez.
Fuck him.
Absolute fucking dictator. Well, you know, he's kind of enjoying a little fire bath right now. So.
As he should.
Yes. But, yeah, Venezuela has been fucked for a long time. I mean, look at the inflation in that fucking country. Like, you had digital currency and like, wow, that was worth more than like $1 million. I don't even know what the currency is in Venezuela. I want to say it's lira, but
yeah.
Yeah. It was insane. I mean, people are struggling to eat there. So it's no wonder that they're leaving the country in droves. They're hitting the streets en masse, the ones that are actually staying, because they want the shithead out of power.
There was a point where Hatman and I were legitimately considering doing a crowdfunding campaign to buy this country.
Oh, the Bolivar, thank you. Bolivar is their currency.
Yes. But we thought we could maybe pull it off.
Yeah.
Because it would have been hilarious. We could have walked in there and just bought it. And
$1,000.
Yeah.
That's it.
The country has become... you got to keep in mind, Venezuela is sitting on a giant oil reserve. Yeah. They were at one point one of the most wealthy countries in Central America. And it all went to shit because of socialism. Because Hugo Chavez came in and he nationalized everything. And borrowed a ton of money to pay off a bunch of people. Well, what happens when you do that and you increase your inflation? You screw your entire country and your economy over. Suddenly you can't afford anything. And that's where they're at.
It's almost like socialism doesn't fucking work. I mean, and on top of that, they were pretty much allowed to get away with it for as long as they did because of the oil.
Yes.
And Jesus Christ, like Chavez he was basically trying to challenge Kim Jong-il and later Kim Jong-un for the who can be a bigger dick to the U.S. president prize. And he was just allowed to fucking go along with it, just get away with it because, yeah, oil. But now shit has hit the fan. Now the U.S. has said, yeah, Maduro, you're not fucking president anymore. You can go straight to hell. And Maduro, in response, said, all right, U.S. diplomats, get the fuck out of my country. So shit's going down, to say the very least.
Yeah. Say what it's looking like right now, and at the worst. Actually, no. What? How could this situation boil down before we move into the next topic? Is at the very worst, what could happen is another proxy war. Because you have to keep in mind, you have the Russians who are supporting Maduro, and the United States are behind his opposition. If a civil war breaks out, you're going to see our nations, backing the other, each backing their side, and then seeing who wins.
It's Cold War all over again, I guess.
Yep. Cold War II Electric Boogaloo. Mr. Putin, tear down this wall.
I think it's kind of deserved. Exterminatus on Maduro.
Yeah. Just kidding, fuck 'em.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What a freaking fake out. We're gonna lose half our fucking audience now.
Dave's fake out.
Deus cucked. Wow. Wow. Well.
Oh dear God.
So
it's like the strip house version of Exterminatus.
Who was it that said fuck him? It's just a faster version of Exterminatus? I think just got proven right.
Oh God.
Oh wow. Oh, that was funny.
I almost thought about using the Jew button instead, but oh well.
Oh, God.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
That would have been an exterminatus on the fucking neo-Nazi.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
Okay. So let's move on. Hatman, you get the lead on this one. Roger Stone, Trump confidant and political advisor, has been arrested.
Mm-hmm.
What is the background on this one?
So, arrested in an FBI raid. Like, guns up, full auto rifles, ready to fucking go. Yeah. Early morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, raid on his fucking house. Arrested for obstruction of justice and witness tampering, apparently. Mueller is alleging that he was in direct contact with WikiLeaks regarding the leak of the DNC emails, and was directed by a senior campaign official in the Trump campaign to basically keep a back channel with WikiLeaks and report back about what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And he denies it vehemently. He's calling it a witch hunt. He's saying he never talked to WikiLeaks. So that's where he's coming from. The bigger issue in this is that CNN got exclusive footage of the raid. And they claim that it was journalistic intuition that apparently by reading the room in Mueller's grand jury, by seeing that there was unusual activity on Thursday night, it caused them to go down to Florida to Roger Stone's residence literally an hour before the raid and stake out, only to capture the footage of the raid in progress. A raid that looked very, very over the top. I mean, automatic weapons and shit? That looks like a fucking show. So now people are saying that somebody tipped off CNN to get this raid footage.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I think that just about anybody sees that.
No, not everyone's seeing that. Like, you got, and it's mostly CNN journalists that are saying, no, it's intuition. Like, most everyone else is like, this is very unusual.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, all these other outlets, they have Mueller beats. They have entire teams of people just dedicated to watching this information, because they want to outscoop each other. They want to get it first. That's how news works. You're telling me that Fox News, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, like, none of those national outlets had the intuition with the same sort of publicly available information, or information that they would at least be privy to given their sources, to figure this out.
And yet, it's the publication that Donald Trump, oddly enough, is most critical of that gets the scoop on this. I'm not big into conspiracy theories, but I don't think there's much of a conspiracy here. Like, you can connect the dots.
Yeah, I'm not buying this, especially since the raid on Paul Manafort and Michael Cohen, or raids on them, no footage exists. No one thought to go there. And they were not even announced until like hours afterwards in press releases.
No, this is a perp walk.
Yeah, this is exactly what it is.
Here's
something screwy going on.
Yeah, and the big thing about this is that Roger Stone is inevitably the trump card, no pun intended, for the Mueller investigation when you think about it. If they have to connect two things. They have to prove that Roger Stone actually did this, first and foremost. Second thing is, and this is the big one, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that WikiLeaks is working for the Russian government.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kicker.
Or that WikiLeaks is a hostile foreign power, which really they pretty much just declared in that anyway.
Yeah, but it's going to be very hard to prove in the courts.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest about what this is. This is the final big move of this investigation. If Roger Stone is guilty of this, then we could see we're inevitably going to see articles of impeachment, in my opinion, in the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. But we would have ones that would come out that would be much more legitimate than anything that they could draft right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that's the goal. Now, would it go anywhere? No, it probably wouldn't. Because even if Trump did act on information given to him by WikiLeaks, and if they did manage to prove that they're some sort of a foreign power or associated with the Russians, technically speaking, using information like that is not illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Though I genuinely don't think that's why Trump won the election. I have no reason to think that.
No.
I think, if anything, it was James Comey saying that Hillary Clinton is back under investigation before the election started.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, Hillary Clinton already had a bad reputation before all that mess came out.
Mm-hmm.
She lost the election on her own.
Yeah, people don't like Hillary Clinton.
I mean, this is let's be real with this investigation. It's basically trying to patch up her ego.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because,
and the ego of all the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I mean, they have doubled down. They have not acknowledged the reason why they lost. They have just dwelled on well, she won the popular vote, not in states that mattered. That's when you double down, when you hedge all of your bets on hashtag resist, hashtag it's Mueller time, all that nonsense. Turns out to be a nothing burger. What the fuck are you gonna do then?
Yeah.
Maybe actually figure out why the fuck you lost, why people don't give a shit about you. But I think introspection is too much for him.
I think so too. When it comes right down to it, again, this is a show. This is basically just one big show. Mm-hmm. Do I think that they're going to be able to really prove WikiLeaks is some sort of a nefarious group here that's connected to the Russians? Probably not. I think that'd be very difficult to prove without some sort of inside, information on them. You'd have to find somebody who worked with WikiLeaks and then flip them. And even then, I don't think that anybody who's ever worked for WikiLeaks ever wants this, as in their eyes, would be swear fealty to any foreign power.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. I'm not a Roger Stone fan in any way, shape, or form, but do I see them flipping him? Do I see him testifying against Donald Trump or anything along those lines? No. I think that really I think this is a desperate move, and I think that it's ultimately not going to go anywhere.
Well, they got his computers. I think that's really what they wanted at the end of the day. They wanted his computers.
Yep. So we'll have to see what happens there. All right, next topic. So, aggressive smirking is apparently a thing.
I really, really, really try to stay away from all news related to this. I don't often mute things on Twitter, but I muted the hell out of this because it was a load of bullshit that was spread all over the place, and there was no reason why people should have been all over it as much as they did. It was quite literally fake fucking news.
Yes.
But people could not stop talking about it. which means now we've got to talk about it.
Yep. So, I actually laid into one of our patrons in the Discord over this because he was starting to go identitarian on us. I won't name who, but because of his anger towards this. And yeah, everybody went apeshit over this story. So there's two sides to it. So let's talk about what happened. These boys from Covington Catholic were in Washington for the March for Life. The Black Hebrew Israelites, which are a cult, started yelling at these young boys. Then Nathan Phillips, a left-wing protester and Marine veteran, though he did not serve during the Vietnam War. Just so he is this man is walking fake news. He constantly lies about his service. Marches in there and starts beating his drum in the face of Nicholas Sandman, who you can see in the picture in front of you. Since then, or right after this happened, the mainstream media tried to portray it as if these young men were doing something wrong. They were literally just standing there, waiting.
Because supposedly they rushed up on this dude and just sat there silently looking at him and smirking. It's white privilege to be able to smirk at people, apparently.
Well, here's how it broke down. Originally, there was the first story and lies. Constant lies about that they were shouting racial epithets, that they were chanting "Build a wall," stuff like that. None of it happened.
Yep.
So the next thing that they tried to do was they tried to dig up other things about Covington Catholic, and it didn't work. They showed these pictures claiming that students at that school were in blackface at a basketball game. No, you fucking idiots. It's called a blackout game.
Yep. Supposedly, the school stopped the valedictorian from giving a speech because he was gay. No, that didn't fucking happen at all.
No, different school, different Catholic school, and the reasons that they did it were on religious grounds, which they're allowed to do underneath the First Amendment. So that didn't work either. So they couldn't get the students on anything. They couldn't get the facts straight. So instead, they just decided to start going after religious people. You started to see the trending hashtag, which was easily curated, called Expose Christian Schools. There were journalists trolling the waters for bad experiences about Christian schools, as if that would prove anything. I went to a Christian college. I had bad experiences there too. Does that say anything about the religion in general? No, it doesn't. I don't know if you noticed the tattoo on my forearm, but I didn't exactly stop believing.
I mean, and you know what? No, Daniel Parker brings up a perfect point. So we're not allowed to criticize the Parkland kids, but these kids are fair game.
Mm-hmm.
That is,
basically.
you are exactly fucking right.
Yeah.
Because, and it's astounding too. Like they all went after white privilege. He's smirking. The MAGA hat is a hate symbol now. Why would a school send kids to protest women's rights? It just devolved into, we will not admit that we were wrong on this.
No, they won't. They are desperately trying to cling to something. And what it has done is it has exposed them as people who hate Christians. Mm-hmm. They despise Christians. Absolutely despise them. And
not only that, it's people trying to turn the MAGA hat into the new swastika.
Yeah.
They want, and somebody straight up had said, we need to start shaming people for being right wing.
Yes, there was a person on CNN who said, yeah, this is the new white hood, which is ridiculous.
It's absolutely fucking retarded.
But I mean, what disturbs me the most isn't the MAGA hat thing. It is because these kids are Christian.
Yeah.
Like that's disturbing, because the simple fact is, and the left has been doing this for a while, ever since the Obama days, is they have had a major problem with Christianity and with Judaism. Mm-hmm. But they'll defend Islam because brown people. But but they basically are trying to assault Christianity and destroy it in the public eye as being intolerant, as being mean, so on and so forth.
It's right back to that fucking oppression Olympics. Well, Christianity is the dominant religion, therefore it's privilege, and privilege means bad, so Christianity must be bad.
I don't even think that it's even that thought. I trace it back to when Obama said that people needed to stop holding on to their guns and their religion. Ever since that statement, there has been a major push against Christians. Like we had this conversation with Aiden ages ago, is that I trace all of our modern problems back to the Obama years. That is when progressivism got big. That's when these people got bolder.
I would push it back a little further. When it was really super trendy to hate George W. Bush. Because that was a big thing that they got on him too, was that he he had the prayer breakfasts and whatnot.
Yeah.
He got criticized for the National Day of Prayer, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Why? Why is that a point of criticism?
It doesn't make any sense. Now, here's the flip on this one. Is we are not defenseless.
No.
This is a point that I have made out to people who got ticked off about this one. We are not defenseless. No one is defenseless. These kids, their parents, are pursuing lawyers. Very, very, very good ones. And they are saying right now they are going to sue the shit, I'm paraphrasing, out of these major networks, as they should. Because the things that they are doing, the things that they are saying, the things that they are trying to portray these kids as, could, in a less sane world, would destroy their lives at a very young age. Because, let's face it, what the left likes to do is they like to destroy people. They like to make people into the next demon, the next Satan, because nobody will touch them at that point. It is a transparent tactic. Here's the thing. Civil courts exist for a reason, and this is one of those reasons. Is that if somebody lies about you in a way that tries to basically destroy your life, you have a case in court. Tortious interference, slander, libel, so on and so forth. You can sue for any of them. And you could hurt somebody's wallet, which in a capitalistic society matters quite a bit. And we live in a capitalistic society. And this is something that I need to emphasize to you guys who get really ticked off about this and think that, oh, nobody's going to stand up for them, or there's no way to fight back. There is. We have a system that's created for these sorts of situations. So let's not give in to the same outraged nonsense that everyone else does. You fight smarter than the other guy. How did Rocky beat Clubber Lang? Second time around. Fought from the outside, used the...
Captured the eye of the tiger.
Well, seriously, I'm going to use a boxing metaphor here. But everybody's seen Rocky 3. He boxed from the outside, he used his jab, he used head movement, and he made Clubber punch himself out. Made him exhaust himself. When you have an opponent that uses a lot of energy but does not think and does not have grounding under their feet, you can win the fight if you're smarter than they are. We need to be smarter. These kids are being smarter. They're being honest, they're being truthful when asked, and they're lawyering up. It's what you do. People will pay, folks. People will pay for this. So don't ever buy into the nonsense that there is some sort of tribal anything that is ever going to save us from these sorts of situations, because it is that very tribalism that got us here in the first place. Mm-hmm. Be smarter than the other guy. Final topic. Donald Trump and Senate Republicans have agreed to a short-term reopening of the government.
Well, there went my prediction of the Republicans were going to stab him in the back.
Yeah, but you were right on the item of the Republicans were the first to cave. I got a little too hopeful that the Democrats were going to give up, and they didn't.
No.
And this has been a interesting show to watch because I have seen people who are very big and very pro-Trump back Trump on this move.
Mm-hmm.
And then people who aren't, who are more, or who are on the right, who just kind of call balls and strikes with them, are calling it a caving. Personally, I am leaning towards the cave camp.
I do not. I think a 3-week agreement is not a full cave. It would be a cave if he voted for full funding of the government for the fiscal year without the wall budget. For me, that is a cave. But a temporary resolution while they continue negotiations, I don't think is a cave.
I think that, or the reason that I kind of agree with the cave crowd is because after this temporary relief is finished, I have no reason to believe that the Democrats are going to debate any more honestly than they were before in regards to the border wall. I have no reason to think that. I think that even as Trump continues to threaten national emergency to build the wall, the Democrats don't care if he does it because they know that inevitably, whether Trump loses in 2020 or leaves office in 2024, they will have that same ability to declare national emergencies. And can you imagine what would happen if President whoever declares a national emergency about climate change? Suddenly, the energy industry would be turned on its fucking head over a national emergency.
That's part of the reason why I do not like the idea of declaring a national emergency to get the wall funded.
I don't think anybody likes that idea. No. I don't think anybody does.
No.
With that said, I really feel like he's threatening Democrats with a nuclear button, in a sense, a button that whether he realizes it or not, they're okay with him pushing. They are perfectly okay with him diverting funds that are in the executive branch to building a border wall, and then again, whether it be in 2 years or 6. Using that same power to bring the wall down, using that same power to destroy entire industries, to socialize the government, so on, and wreck our fucking system.
Yeah. It's a worse version of Obama's power of the pen.
Yes, it really is. Or even if you want to use a legislative branch, the Harry Reid using the nuclear option, and then it's been turned on him to approve all these judges. What has bothered a lot of people is I don't think they see how this works, or how they think it's going to work. We were starting to see in polls that Trump's popularity was starting to go up during the shutdown. The wall was starting to go up, and then as he caved, people just threw up their hands.
Well, the poll numbers had gone down before then. He was sitting at a 39% approval rating, and I think 55 or 56% disapproval the day before he made the agreement. So a lot of that, I think, has to do with just optics in general, because the public had started to believe that the Democrats are right, that, oh, no, it's totally on the Republicans and Trump for the shutdown. And yes, while he did say that he was going to own it, he was at least trying to negotiate his way through it. Democrats were obstructing the entire time. And remember, they protested. They refused to meet with him after a while. And I don't think they're going to budge from that. This is going to give them a high.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep on with this. They're not going to back down from it. And if they feel like they've got the public on their side, then of course they're emboldened by it. So we'll see what happens in 3 weeks when the government either gets shut down again or Trump declares the national emergency. But it's going to go right back to where it fucking was. This is temporary. Very, very temporary.
I'm just curious as to how they're going to play the next round. Because, first off, the world did not explode. Things did not get worse. Mm-hmm. Government workers did get furloughed. That's what happens in government shutdowns. And I was loving it on Twitter. Because Bernie Sanders's Twitter was, whether he realized it or not, well, granted, an intern probably runs it anyway, but whether he realized it or not, was basically constantly arguing for smaller government. 95% of the EPA is furloughed and they're not coming into work at the moment. Oh, really? Well, we should just get rid of the EPA then. That's a lot of waste. Yeah. If 95% of your workforce is non-essential, it's waste.
What the fuck are they doing at that point?
Yeah, that's what. If I were Donald Trump, that's what I would start doing. I would just start fucking. And I talked about this on the Overflow. I would just start cutting entire executive branch pieces that are worthless. It's like if any single branch is furloughing 95% of their employees, cut it. Get rid of it. But I don't think we're going to see that. I genuinely, as these last few months have gone on, my like of Donald Trump has gone down. And it really, really just bugs the ever-loving fuck out of me. Because this isn't the first time that he's caved. In my opinion. Like, the last time he had a big budget bill that came in front of him, and he said, oh, I'll sign this one, but the next one better have wall funding. And it seems like this, second verse same as the first here. Mm-hmm. That's my worry. Because the wall needs to be built. It does. And yet, and admittedly, this is something we should have done when we had control of both houses.
Well, the Republicans dragged their fucking feet.
Yes, they did, because they got too comfortable.
I mean, what did they accomplish aside from tax reform?
Tax reform, and they gutted certain aspects of Obamacare.
Yeah, but they didn't overhaul it like they promised that they were going to do.
No, they didn't.
Especially promising for years and years that they were going to do it. They didn't have a fucking plan.
Exactly.
They sat around with their thumbs up their asses, complacent with everything because, hey, we run the government. Meanwhile, nothing fucking gets done.
Exactly.
It's fucking bullshit. And to cap this off, I find it supremely hilarious that Pelosi and Schumer and the other Democrats were okay with using the wall funding for heightened border security, but just not the wall. It boggles the fuck out of me.
Last time I checked, you were never a Trump fan to begin with. I've praised Donald Trump more than I've criticized him.
Remember, he voted for Trump. I didn't.
Yeah. You kidding me? Because more often than not, I like what Donald Trump does, but lately I have just not been satisfied. But maybe he'll turn it around. I'm hoping he does.
Yeah.
But I try to be objective about these sorts of things as best I can. All right. Let's move on to the Q&A.
So, something happened. I had a delivery.
Oh.
By a courier, believe it or not. And I'm kind of hesitant to open this because it's got a few red flags. I mean, it's a red envelope, so that's kind of a red flag in itself. But it says "open on air for Christmas." It has a couple of stamps on there, but no postmark. And the return address is Nancy Pelosi. So I'm
oh, who the fuck is trying to bomb the Hatman?
I have no idea what's going on here. I'm very confused. Should I actually open this?
I don't know. Should you? Shake it around to see if there's any powder in there.
Hang on, I got headphones on. Nope, I'm not hearing any powder. Chat, do I take the risk?
Just do it.
All right. Oh, it's a Christmas card. It says, "It's Christmas."
No, it's not.
No,
it's fucking January. It's fucking cold.
It's quite literally a month after Christmas. Hope this puts a smile on your face. Merry Christmas, Micah and Hat. And somebody actually left money in here for us, apparently.
Well, for you, because I'm like several states away.
Well, how much money is this? It's there are two 20s and a $10 bill. So I think
$50.
I think we split it then. So yeah, it's apparently a Christmas card sent through courier service, despite having stamps on it. Hold on. Nope, doesn't smell like anthrax. So
does anthrax have a smell?
I mean, I guess anthrax.
Hatman.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. That was drugs. That was drugs. Whew. Oh boy. Well, that's a Christmas present if ever. But no, seriously, that came from Brimshay. So thank you, Brimshay. Thank
Indeed,
you for
thank you.
The late Christmas gift.
All right, let's have a look at the questions here. So let's start.
You hit the Twitter.
You mean the Discord?
Discord, Twitter, and then I'll hit an email that I got.
Okay. Holy Ninja Toe wants to know, for Political Podcast, thoughts on the recent story about the New York high school teacher getting into trouble for daring to show clips from a Fox News documentary. I have not heard of that one, actually.
I haven't either, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, where? In the words of Kim Jong-il, why is everybody so fucking stupid?
And then Talon Silverbane wants to know. He had two questions, so one that I'll pick for this is, so the government shutdown, has it affected anything? It seems like the whole thing is a pointless save for stopping the wall being built. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
And then for Twitter, our friend the Dank Horse Elric had a couple questions, but the one that I liked, the two, was the government's. He actually asks a similar question to Talon Silverbane, but his add-on to that is: should libertarians and small government conservatives use this as part of their platform? I would.
Why not? Why not?
I mean, well, again, if 95% of your employees are non-essential, Why are they there?
Yeah, you're just dicking around on their computers, probably.
Probably on Reddit. That are working for ShareBlue as well.
I mean, I'd get on Reddit at work, admittedly, but I'm not a ShareBlue shill, so
I don't, because I work very hard for my money.
Unfortunately, our system goes down a lot, so.
All right. What did we get in the email?
All right, so an email came in from Chris, a.k.a. Weeb name that I'm not going to bother butchering, whatever. It says, "G'day, Hatman and Micah. Glad to know there's still a way for us poor souls outside your time zone to send in questions. We got a couple of entertainment questions, too, so I'll hit those in entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But for politics, any chance we would be interested in giving an outsider's perspective on Australian politics? I'd be happy enough to relay you interesting events as they come along because it'd be refreshing to hear someone else's view on what goes on around here. Like your media, the vast majority here are pushing narratives, and frankly, I want Rambo to explode some Aussie trucks for once." So, yeah, Australian politics. If you give us some sources on it, because I hear things in Roofuckerstan are pretty abysmal right now.
Well, their laws in regards to video games have been ridiculous.
Yeah,
for years, and their treatment of freedom of speech has been ridiculous for years.
But no, yeah, we will gladly blow up some Aussie trucks if you want.
Oh yes. All right, let's have a look here and see what's in the chat. King K Rats asks, "Oh, go ahead."
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying. Let's actually get to the chat.
Do we worry the Democratic Party has become cult-like and past the point of return?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Although I say, if they start adopting the DSA talking points and go full progressive, then yeah, the cult mentality has set in, and it's done for at that point.
Let's see here. Do we think that with Covington Gate fiasco contribute to the mass mob losses? So that was a really weirdly worded question. Contributes the mass mob losses.
Contributed to the mass job losses.
Oh yeah, I don't think that they were tied, but they couldn't have been timed better.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, what was it? Huffington Post's opinion section. So basically, all Huffington Post is gone now, and then what? 15% of BuzzFeed?
Yes.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, that's. I mean, congratulations! You fucking played yourself.
Well, and that's the thing is these. One thing that I don't think a lot of people on the left realize is that a lot of these outlets really are failing. They're not able to turn a profit because a lot of people who were reading them 6, 7, 8 years ago aren't reading them anymore. But that's the nature of the business. We'll end up seeing what goes on there.
Oh, that's right. And the waistcoats. What do you think of journalists having to learn how to code? Yeah, that one fucking tweet of the dude saying there's a special place in hell for people who tell journalists that were just laid off to learn to code. I'm sorry, but were you not fucking saying that to the blue collar workers that were losing their jobs en masse during the fucking Great Recession?
Yeah.
Go directly to hell.
Exactly.
Fuck off.
Fuck them?
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Matchstick 7886 wants us to imagine the potential MAGA hijab.
I want it. Somebody make that, please.
I will say this. If there are any Muslim Trump supporters out there, It would be interesting if they started wearing American flag hijabs or something like that. People would get fucking triggered.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No, the American flag hijab was part of the Women's March propaganda.
That's right.
What was it? Shepard Fairey did the art of that. No, I want a MAGA hijab. I want that. I want that so bad. MAGA Akbar.
Oh god.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh wow. Here's one. Hardboiled Entertainment asks, if the Venezuela situation leads to Cold War II, Frosty Boogaloo, will that end the whole Russian puppet stupidity?
No.
No, probably not. Although it would just be hilarious.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Leonardo Juan wants to know, are the yellow vests the ones destroying the EU, or is the EU doing its job and destroying itself? It's the latter of the two, really. The EU was always destined for this, along with any sort of big government socialistic entity. Is you'll notice that they start to go downhill the instant that the government starts, increasing its size and then taxing the ever-loving shit out of people. And people will revolt. People like making money. People like providing for themselves. People like eating. I obviously do. But when it comes right down to it, the drink, by the way, these sorts of ideas, these sorts of people tend to destroy themselves. It wouldn't surprise me as long as Trudeau is still in power if Canada continues to go downhill. So.
Yeah. Here's a good one. Kyle Casarina, I think I pronounced that right. Do you think the Dems will turn against Cortez for her shenanigans?
They're already pretty divided on her from what I've noticed.
Yes. I don't think they're going to turn on her. I think establishment Dems are going to try and fuck with her, and she's going to put them all on blast on Twitter.
Yep.
And she's ultimately going to win that fight because she is the far left version of Donald Trump, basically.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
She is... Yeah. The fact that her audience grew as fast as it did is kind of shocking, to say the least. And now she's got too much political clout. So, no, I think she is a symbol of where we are going to see the Democratic Party in the next couple of elections. I do think they're going to go full Democratic Socialist. The old Democratic Party is going to die, for sure. And folks like that is who you got to thank or who you got to blame.
Let's see here. Gojira asked a question I'd like to answer. He said the right failed to make a secular argument against gay marriage. What's a secular argument against alt-right white nationalist narrative? Well, the big one is it doesn't fucking work.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that a ethnically homogenous state is inherently something that is peaceful is not necessarily the case. Or rather, a state that exists solely for the forwarding of one particular ethnic background, I should say. Because that's what an ethno-state is. For reference, Poland, not an ethno-state. Japan, not an ethno-state. Israel, definitely not an ethno-state. It's actually quite diverse when it comes to backgrounds. Because keep in mind, to be Jewish, only your mom has to have been Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
There are black Jewish people. There are Ethiopian Jews. There are Arab Jews. There are Ashkenazi Jews. So on and so forth. Like, there's a lot of backgrounds. You go to Israel, not everybody looks the same. But if you exist for the forwarding of one particular idea, which the only one that has really existed throughout time that is solely devoted to it was Nazi Germany, ultimately they will turn inward and they will turn outward to destroy anything that is not what they promote.
Mm-hmm.
It is inevitability. In psychology, they call it othering. And if you want to go back in time on my main channel to the first podcast that Aiden Paladin did with us, it was right after Charlottesville, we talked about this. We talked about othering. We talked about why it doesn't work and what it does, not just to interpersonal relationships, but to societies at large. It destroys them. That's what we saw in Nazi Germany. To go further from that, notice what happened in South Africa. What do you think that was? That was the attempted establishment of an ethno-state. They didn't start pulling back their things against farmers until Donald Trump threatened to intervene.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something you got to keep in mind. This is the problem with the alt-right is they lie constantly about what an ethno-state is. Again, an ethno-state is defined as a state that exists to further one ethnic group. One. The reason that Japan doesn't count is because they actually don't. They have a very strict immigration laws though. Incredibly strict.
That's more of a cultural prejudice than actually
that's a bit different.
Institutionalized.
Yes. Cultural superiority as opposed to racial.
Yeah.
Though admittedly Japan can be a bit racist.
There is a degree of racial superiority, but again, it's not institutionalized. It's not a state that is built on that fact. That's not like stone.
We're not looking at like shoujo era Japan here. No. They're not like that anymore. You can become nationalized into a lot of these nations that have very strict immigration laws. The difference is that these nations are actually enforce the fucking law. They don't have these big political groups that are within their own countries that are against the law itself. And that's the key difference. That's the issue that America has. Or else we wouldn't be that different. I don't think we should be that different, honestly. I think we should have very strict laws about it because we have a culture that is superior to all others. And to maintain that culture, people have to adhere to it. People need to understand why it's better. And if you don't have a nationalization process, then it's just not there. So. Alright, and final question, because Autist Whispers asked about this and somebody else has. Our thoughts on the New York expansion of abortion. It's disgusting.
What exactly got expanded on? I've heard all kinds of...
Up until birth.
Up until birth.
Up until birth. They legalized everything Kermit Gosnell was doing.
Fuck him?
No. Legit exterminatus this time.
Go for it.
We have arrived, and it is now that we fulfill our charge. In fealty to the Lord our God, and by the grace of his throne, I declare exterminatus upon whatever scumbag we're declaring exterminatus on today. I hereby sign the death warrant of an entire wherever, and consign 1,000,000 souls, maybe, to oblivion. May imperial justice account in all balance. The Emperor protects.
Deus vos, Deus vos, Deus vos, Deus
Had to lighten the mood with the Jew button. But in all seriousness, though, fuck New York.
Fuck them.
Fuck them!
Fuck them.
All buttons.
Everybody.
But seriously, though, the Catholic Church should excommunicate the mayor or the governor at this point. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, do it.
All right, folks. If you have politics questions for the Overflow, please do not forget to place them in the chat right now. Brainbox, our main mod, is with us today, so go ahead and tag
question in there. I want to answer that for Overflow.
Yeah,
that deserves some Overflow time.
That'll be definitely a good one. And then on top of that, stick around. We will be doing our entertainment podcast, the big features. Whoa, Torino de Guzman donated $5. Let's really read that really quick before we head out. Did we see the unveiling of Ghana's new military power armor soldiers on YouTube? Also New York, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. No, but I want one.
Power armor soldiers, you say?
I want power armor. Give me a Gundam.
Yes, please.
Okay, but stick around. We'll be talking about... Hatman will be giving us a guide to the Oscars, and I will be reviewing Resident Evil 2, the 2019 version. Which, if you guys missed game night, you shouldn't have. Those streams are always fun. Seriously. Alright. But until that, stick around. Again, we're not going anywhere, but we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to get changed real fast. But, my name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as The Hatman.
We'll see you guys soon. Deus Volt.